Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson Zero in X-Force, and this is my comic poll list for the last Wednesday of the last week of May, and today is the first day of June, and of course this is 2012, it's a Friday. And first up here, I'll do my Marvels and DCs. I'll have my Independents in a separate posting, and I'm going to start off here with my Marvels. Now, as always, the last week of the month is a pretty light week, so I don't have as many as usual, but I did pick up a couple little things extra. I kind of like trying things out at the end of the month. So first up here for my Marvels is the Incredible Hulk issue number 8 and To Stay Angry Part 1. Now I am kind of excited a little bit because they're having the whole 50th anniversary of Amazing Spider-Man, and it looks like they're going to do the same thing with the Incredible Hulk with the 50th anniversary. I'm not sure what they're going to do with it, if they're going to do as much, but this Stay Angry new story arc was something I was kind of lukewarm about. I saw some of the artwork through the internet, and I was not liking it, but I was enjoying the stories that I've been reading so far. So you get this fantastic cover. I only wish the artwork inside was anywhere near this type of artwork, but you know, that's pretty standard. But I have to say, after reading this first part of Stay Angry, oh man, I just really did not like it at all. The only thing that might keep this for me, besides Hulk being one of my favorite characters, is I guess parts 2 and 3 he's going to fight Wolverine, and I can't remember the third character, but he's going to be fighting somebody else. Oh, the Thing. It was a Thing. He's going to be fighting the Thing as well. Now, he's done that many times before, but it's kind of interesting, the storyline where he's trying to stay angry so he doesn't turn back into Bruce Banner, because Bruce Banner is pretty much insane right now. So we're getting the exact opposite for a while now. It's the Hulk trying to keep back Banner, where the last 50 years it was the opposite. Banner trying to keep back the Hulk. So I do still like that. It feels fresh. But what didn't work for me, I won't even get into our work yet. I'll just talk about the story. But what didn't work for me is it was just kind of strange. There's this villain. This villain's like a dog man, and he's like a drug runner, pusher kind of guy. And he has like a dog gang. It just felt strange. Not strange in a good way. Like when I read Old Man Logan, you know, that was weird, but it was good weird. This is just strange. There were a few cool moments with the Punisher and Hulk. There's this one scene where he has to try and keep him angry, so he shoots him in the face a bunch of times. And that was funny. But the artwork is atrocious. Now, I know this artist, he's a good artist. I read him, I believe he's on Preacher before. I've seen his artwork before, and it was okay. It's never been one of my favorites. But you know, many of you have said the same thing, and it's absolutely true. He cannot illustrate the Hulk. The Hulk looks like a bald, muscle-bound 1930s guy without a mustache. Like a strongman, 1930s strongman, but with no mustache and green. It just not look right at all. And the action in this book is very, very stale. It's very flat, and you feel absolutely no motion whatsoever. Very, very disappointed in this issue. If I didn't love the Hulk so much, and his 50th anniversary thing wasn't coming up, I would really probably drop this title. This is a not good start to this new story arc. And even though he's fighting the Thing and Wolverine in the future parts, with this type of storytelling and this type of artwork, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be picking it up. It was bad. I do not recommend anyone who's interested in all this good press with the Hulk, with the Avengers movie, and with this up till now very good ongoing series. This would not be the the time to jump on, because I think you would not understand why everyone's been loving Incredible Hulk so far. Next up here is the Avengers vs. X-Men issue of Wolverine the X-Men number 11. I heard a lot of gripes about this, not a lot, but a few of some of my favorites reviewers on YouTube, like Ghost Critic, wasn't really a big fan of this issue. He did like the artwork. I personally really liked this issue. Now, it did feel short. It felt kind of quick. Went too quick, it's over. And you're paying, full price for it, so... actually, it's only $3 still. But I enjoyed it because I've been reading most of the Avengers versus X-Men stuff, so this fit right in with me. There's this really cool scene in here where Hope gets damaged. She gets stabbed through the stomach area, and she falls down in agony. Now, she has some Wolverine powers going on, so we know she's not going to die or anything, but she's in a lot of pain, and she actually taps into the Phoenix power, and it was a nice splash page of her unleashing the Phoenix power on this Skrull guy, and it's like Wolverine has this flashback of when he had to kill Jean Grey, when she asked him to kill her before she turned to Phoenix again. And he pops out his claws, and he kind of, for a moment, he thinks maybe he should kill Hope. But then he pulls back his claws and he holds himself back and decides, it's just a quick little moment, a little thought he had. But it worked really well, especially with him going back and forth between the point of views of the Avengers and the X-Men. And now it's come here with his students and stuff, so I really enjoyed all of that. Maybe if I wasn't reading Avengers vs. X-Men, and I wasn't, been reading all the Schism stuff and the X-Men stuff, maybe it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I really enjoyed this issue, even though it was a little short. So I definitely recommend this as always. I don't necessarily think it was a weak issue either, because it had a point. Its point was the Avengers versus X-Men storyline. So for me, it worked quite a bit. I really enjoyed this. And again, as always, absolutely gorgeous artwork. Next up here are my DCs. And I'll start with this New 52 #1 kind of free comic day. Mine was actually $1. I'm not sure. I think this might be a variant cover, but I didn't get it free. So I'm not sure what that's about. But I did pick it up, even though I actually pick up a lot of the comics that are in here. There were a few in here that I wanted to kind of see previews of. And I picked up the Marvel previews, $1.25, 3 months of what's coming up type stuff. Haven't picked up anything with DC in it yet, so I thought this would be something good to get, even though I had to pay $1 for a free comic. But I did like it. The one I think I was most excited about in here was, because I really have been enjoying Earth 2. I read the first issue, and even though I read it and I liked it, and then the more I thought about it, the more I went back and reread it and thought, wow, this could be really good. So there's this spin-off of Earth 2, and it's the Huntress and Power Girl come from Earth 2 to the main DCU. And there's a preview in here of that, which actually I thought was quite good. But there's a bunch of previews in here, and if you haven't read a lot of DC, this is definitely great to pick up, even if your comic book store charges you $1. But it's a nice little, nothing but a bunch of previews, but I did like it. Next up here, or technically first, if you don't count that first one as a comic, and that is the Batman annual. This is the first annual of the new Batman with Scott Snyder, and this one is tied into the Night of Owls. Now, it's not a real huge tie-in. Some people were confused, thinking that this annual was going to be the finale of the whole Night of Owls Absolutely not. This is basically like a one shot, and the one shot is involves how Mr. Freeze is kind of tied into the Night of Owls. So as a one shot, it was great. You don't necessarily need to pick it up if you're picking up a lot of the Night Owl stuff, but I would recommend picking it up anyway because first of all, it's Scott Snyder. Second of all, it's Batman, and third of all, it's pretty much a new introduction of Mr. Freeze, like with this new DCU stuff. This is like a sort of like an origin story, but kind of twisted into the whole Night of Owls. But as a one shot, it was really entertaining. Beautiful artwork, great writing as always from Scott Snyder, and I really enjoy origin stories, so I really liked this issue, and it was by far the best annual. I ended up not picking up the Spider-Man annual just because I heard so many was barely worth reading type of stuff, and I don't want to pay $5 for that, but I would pay $5 for this. An excellent first annual and a really strong Batman story. Next up here is #1 Ravagers. Now, there's two reasons to pick this up. Number one, if you've been reading The Culling, which is a story involving Teen Titans and Superboy, those tie-ins, and I think it was Legion's Lost. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it wasn't great, but it was. I wasn't expecting much, though. I do really enjoy Teen Titans. So I all around, I thought it was a pretty decent book and a pretty decent read. So the conclusion of all that is an introduction to this team, the Ravagers. So you'd want to pick this up at least to see if you like it, if you're reading Teen Titans and all that. Another reason to pick this up is the introduction to basically the Gen 13 from Image way back. So if you were into Gen 13, which Gen 13 was one of my first independent comics that I read, that and Spawn. So I really enjoyed Gen 13. I read it for a long time. So this feels very, very different than the Gen 13 that I really liked back with Image. Definitely has a different feel, though most of what I really liked about Gen 13 is here in the Ravagers. Fairchild is always my favorite character, and I do like her here. They kind of threw Beast Boy in there from Teen Titans and the old DCU. But for the most part, it is Gen 13 reimagined as the Ravagers. There's also other characters in here from Teen Titans. And in general, I thought it was a good comic. Again, it felt kind of quick. It was like, just as I started to enjoy it, it was over. So this might be one I just pick up on trade, but I definitely thought that it was a good start. And even if you had not read the whole Culling stuff with Teen Titans, it wouldn't be that big a deal, even though I would recommend you do that. But you get enough of the backstory right off the bat. Really nice artwork as well. I did enjoy this. Next up here from my DCs is Batman Beyond Unlimited. This is issue #4. This is one of those comics that's not in my saver that I just keep on picking up because I'm always interested enough to read another issue. But I have so many comics that I don't want to pick up too many more. So it never quite makes my saver, but I have read every issue so far, and I enjoy the Superman stuff a little bit more than the Justice League Unlimited stuff. I always like the Batman Beyond stuff. So all in all, I thought it was really good. I think that if you love Batman Beyond, this is definitely a must-read. I think if you kind of were into the whole Superman Unlimited stuff too, that this would probably be a must pick up. But if it was just okay for you and you never really got into it, maybe trade. But I think it's really good. I think the artwork is great. It has a cartoony feels at times, but that's in a good way. and I just really like what they're doing right now with the Superman of the future. So a mild recommendation for me. Definitely a book that you have to kind of be into to read. You wouldn't like pick this up cold and know what's going on really, but if you're into it, definitely pick it up. And last but not least is something I picked up just because I never read the originals, and it's one of those $8 books, $7.99, that is a reprint of books, a series that was, basically, I can't remember which issues they are, but they all tie together. It's actually, even though it's put out now, it's connected to the old DCU. This is not the new Supergirl. This is not the new Superman. This is the Superman from before, Supergirl, all those superheroes from before. And I think it's part of the reason why I wanted to pick it up. Now, I looked at it first, and what really sold me is the artwork. Like I said, I never read the originals. I know about the story. Some of the covers are iconic of the singles, so I kind of thought this would be a great way to read it without actually having to buy a trade. It's basically a mini trade. But I really like this. First of all, I love the artwork. The artwork, my favorite parts were with Supergirl. There's this really great splash page of Supergirl going toe-to-toe with Power Girl. And just some of the best artwork I've seen in a super book. Now, I don't pick up a lot of super books. I actually only read action right now. So another reason I kind of want to pick this up, because I get a little more Superman and a little more Supergirl. Even though I know this is Supergirl, it's not relevant now. I still enjoy the older Supergirl quite a bit from the old DCU. So this was a lot of fun. Again, I never read the original, so it was fresh to me, and it was almost like a love letter of what we all love about the old DCU. Even though I'm 100% on board and I really like DC now, they're my favorite comic company right now. Definitely think they're hitting a lot of home runs. Still, there's some things I kind of miss, like the old Red Robin and the old Supergirl. So this was really fun for me, and I really enjoyed the heck out of it. If you're looking for something to read that is a good storyline, if you want to read a super book with some great artwork, this is absolutely a strong recommendation. It's a 100-page spectacular. There's even some fun stuff with Blue Demon at the end. A really fun read. So with that, those are my comics for the last week of May. And even though it was a short stack, I enjoyed myself. It was some good reads. There were a few disappointments, and again, I'm really struggling with the whole Incredible Hulk thing. I mean, I don't know if I even want to bother getting the next few issues, because I know I'm going to absolutely hate the artwork. And the story isn't really, there for me right now. Though, I love the Hulk, so it's a really hard decision for me. But I'd like to hear from you guys. Did you guys pick up any of these nice little mini trades that DC put out this week? Also, about Incredible Hulk. Are you guys feeling the same way I am? You want to like it, but you just can't like this new story arc? Just let me know, and I'd love to hear from you guys. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.